Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition. I probably should have looked it up. I don't remember which podcast number we're on. I think we're on Season 2, Episode 12 or 14 or something like that. I don't remember.
I think
One of these days I should look that up before we start.
I know there's at least 30 episodes total.
Yeah. So, anyway, welcome to another podcast. This is Train Talk from Milepost 141. This is the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast, and we're coming to you great from Durango, Colorado at 141 Burnett Drive. So if any of you guys wonder where the 141 comes in, 141 is our SoundTraxx user ID when it comes to DCC and NMRA. We are manufacturer 141. We also now reside at 141 Burnett Drive in Durango, Colorado. And I shouldn't say now. We've been here almost 10 years now. So
right, yeah.
It's been a minute. So if any of you guys are still sending stuff to 210, don't. Send it to 141 Burnett Drive in Durango, Colorado.
And the boss, she did say to mention that, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
People apparently are still sending stuff to the old address.
Yeah.
So she wanted us to point that out, so I'm glad that you
Yeah,
brought
we've
that
had some repairs still coming to the old address, and finally, after 10 years, the post office said, enough, we're not forwarding any more stuff over there. So,
And we will be updating that and putting a pointer or something on the website, I think. It's
been up there.
Yeah, for the near future about focusing that, so folks do send your repairs to 141.
Yeah.
Like the boss here said.
Boss, where?
Yeah.
Crap, we got to behave. Anyway, so here we are. We've got a different backdrop behind us, but this isn't necessarily a permanent backdrop. We're actually setting up for Train Fest. We're getting everything ready because that's going to be here before we know it.
Yep.
As of this recording, we're only a few weeks away from needing to ship all this stuff. So we've got it up. We've got it powered up and tested so that we can make sure everything works, everything looks good, so we can pack it back up and get it ready. And then once we're done this podcast, we're going to move this out of the way and start planning the stuff for the tables. So really excited about that. But we got a little bit of time before that happens. So anyway, with that, let's talk about projects. What kind of projects have you been working on lately?
They're still sitting at home on the desk, but about 3 or 4 of them as usual. My workbench looks like George's and like a lot of other modelers. I've got GP15s on the left side, Jeep 38-2s on the right, and I've got a steam engine for somebody that they send through the mail they want me to look at, so I'm looking at that right now.
Okay.
So, didn't bring anything today, but
didn't bring anything
George
to show.
Made up for the slack.
Okay.
He brought 4 units.
I got 4 units here, and these are ones I'm going to show with some new things, some new features in, and without getting too far ahead, we've launched the new Apple version of the app, and I'm really, really, really excited about that. As an Apple iPhone user, holy crap, where'd that come from? As an iPhone user myself, I'm really excited that we finally got a new app. There's a lot of great features, and I'm going to show you some of them here today. But first, I did want to mention, some of you guys may be wondering if you're watching this on video, where I got this really cool hat and this wonderful t-shirt. Now, some people, when I put this stuff on all together, it kind of makes me laugh because, growing up in Texas, they built Texas Motor Speedway not that long ago. I mean, by comparison anyway. I'm 40-something years old. And anyway, they built Texas Motor Speedway, and so I used to go out and watch NASCAR. It always made me, I always enjoyed watching that. It was a lot of fun, and especially nothing beats a race in person. It's just really fun, even though, yes, I hear people say, it's all a bunch of left turns. Go to a race. It's just fun, and get the scanners. But what made me laugh about it was you get a lot of people that are at the racetrack, and of course they all have their favorite drivers. So, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt Sr., you got Jimmy Johnson or Kyle Busch or any of those guys. I haven't watched it in a few years, so I don't even know some of the newer drivers nowadays.
Yeah, I don't either.
Mine was always Kevin Harvick. I just enjoyed Kevin Harvick, who was the heir to Dale Earnhardt Sr. after his unfortunate accident.
Yes.
But the reason I bring that up is because you walk around those racetracks and you see a lot of people wearing all the merchandise. Like they've got their Dale Earnhardt t-shirt and their Dale Earnhardt hat and their Dale Earnhardt neck pendant thing with their ticket in it and all of that stuff. And then they've got the painted up headphones that they come to the race. These guys, some of the people walking around, it made me laugh a little bit because it looked like a souvenir truck threw up on them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just go to the souvenir truck, like, I'll take one of those, I'll take one of that, just give me everything.
There was a guy over there in St. Louis, and I think it's a Gateway International race. I don't know what they call it now. But anyway, he brought a tire and a silver Sharpie and had Richard Petty sign it.
Oh, yeah.
One time. So, Richard, of course, put that beautiful signatures on that tire. Whether or not it really was one of his, I doubt it. But
Who knows?
Richard just smiled, had his sunglasses on, and said, "Sure, buddy," and signed it.
Yep. There you go.
That's what, what you're talking about. Those people are dedicated. I mean, to carry around a tire.
Yeah.
I mean, in that racetrack, it's a long way from the parking lot over to it's about 3/4 of a mile to the racetrack.
Those aren't small parking lots.
No, they're not.
They carry a lot of people. And Texas was a 1.5 mile racetrack. So
yeah.
you can imagine the walk that took.
Yeah. Texas is a little bit bigger.
Yeah. But yeah, carry a tire like that's dedication.
Yeah, I thought he was nuts, but I thought it was neat too to see the King sign it. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, all the above.
Nice dude.
Well, anyway, the reason I bring up that story is because I'm sitting here in my SoundTraxx shirt. I'm sitting here in my SoundTraxx hat that you can get on your website at SoundTraxx.com. It just made me laugh. It's like a SoundTraxx souvenir truck just threw up on me. Just put all the stuff on it.
Yeah, that's right.
But these hats are brand new. These are really cool. I'm really excited about it. We turned 35 years this year, so it shows Durango, Colorado, established 1990.
They're nice.
So it's a really nice hat. That looks fantastic.
In Texas, also, if they saw you from a distance, they could think TCU. That's their colors. So.
Yeah, they could, but that's okay. We won't hold that against them.
No.
But anyway, so yeah, these shirts. Now I will tell you, the 35th anniversary shirts are running low. So check the website. Make sure if your size is available, be sure to pick it up now while you can.
Yep.
I know we got a lot of ladies shirts as well. Ladies, come on, what are you doing? Get you a shirt.
Yep.
Today's the day.
Supplies are limited.
But yes, supplies are limited. We're starting to dwindle down. And so anyway, with that, a lot of cool, exciting stuff that SoundTraxx has done over the years. I mean, we've been a lot of firsts when it comes to the model railroad industry. One of our first products, which a lot of people don't necessarily know or remember, is our first product as a company was the Hyperlite. And the Hyperlite was a small circuit board that you would install that would be powered with your DC power, and it was the first processor-driven model or lighting module in model railroading. And what you would do is on that circuit board, you would cut a trace here and there, and it would tell the processor, oh, okay, power's not coming here, basically kind of like unofficial dip switches to trigger the processor to create a Mars light or a gyro light or a rotary beacon or whatever the type of lighting effect you were wanting to replicate. And so we were one of the first ones to do that, and that was, of course, prior to DCC. And that product was so popular that we still incorporate that term in our products now. So when you're looking at decoders, when we talk about setting the Hyperlight effects, that's why we still use that term. The Hyperlight effects refers to the different lighting effects, flashing ditch lights, whatever the case. So there you go. There's your little bit of history.
It's neat. Now I know why they do that.
Yeah.
Kind of like a reference to the past.
Yeah, exactly.
In the present.
But we've been industry leader for many, many, many years, and things like we were back at that first meeting when they were designing DCC. We were there helping create this standard, and basically we said, well, we'll make sound decoders, because at that point we were talking about making a better sound system than what was available out there. We had what was known as the SoundTraxx, which was our infrared. It was the D220 and the D220 IR and the S220 IR, which was an infrared remote control system that would create sounds, and it would send signals to the rails to trigger the sound effects and so forth. So it was a really neat system, but we decided, well, we wanted DCC. We could see the benefits in using DCC, especially when it comes to sound decoders. And so we certainly were able to be on the forefront of that. So that's a lot of the technology you see when it comes to sound decoders actually came from us. So that's a really cool feature. So 35 years of history, guys. These hats are really special. So these just came in, so we're not running low yet, but be sure to get them. Now I know our marketing gal, Mackenzie, she started doing a thing online. Where are you wearing your hats?
Right.
So if you get a hat, take a picture of yourself somewhere, whether you're rail fanning, out 4-wheel driving, visiting a theme park or something like that. Take a picture of you in your hat and send it in. We'll share it and see where our hats end up.
She just put that on the Facebook page too.
Yeah, that was on the Facebook page. So
as well. Yep.
Yep. So since we didn't really bring any new projects, most of the stuff I have here on the table, you guys have seen before.
It's still cool though,
and it's still cool. It's Mopac.
It's Mopac.
Yeah. Why would it?
It's got one of the legacy Gould, Jay Gould railroads in there, but that's a beautiful engine too.
Yeah, I like that engine.
I could be a Rio Grande person too, real easy. But
I'm quickly becoming one. I've got myself a nice collection of Grand stuff. I've got 3 or 4 tunnel motors. I've got 3 SD45s, Jeep 40. Little guilty pleasure, I even bought the Rio Grande Jeep 15 from Athearn because it's just too cool.
Right, it is, and it's basically like it was saying, like, when I grow up, I want to be a real tunnel motor. 'Cause it's a baby tunnel motor.
The baby tunnel motor, or I've heard them called the urban tunnel motors as well.
Yep.
But anyway, so the Grand I can certainly get into. But anyway, this setup right here, you guys, like I said, have seen before. I've got 4 locomotives, and I'm just going to make sure they're all centered on camera here.
Yep.
And what I want to do is I want to do a couple of quick little things to kind of show you the ease of which it is using Blunami. Now, all 4 of these locomotives are equipped with a Blunami, of course, because it's,
You're that guy.
I'm that guy, and Blunami really is, in my opinion, one of the best game changers that are out there. Let me go ahead and unlock my phone.
I could vouch for that too. I love it.
Well, and I laugh because you came over and operated the first time, and you went home and went, I got to rethink everything. That was just so much fun.
It was. I mean, everything you see here, folks, is just like game changer for me. Like just the way you could operate with Blunami, and I was never skeptical of it anyway. It's just that I had no idea. I was just touching the tip of the iceberg, like a lot of the customers when they get us on the phone. We tell them, "Oh yeah, you can do that. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Oh yeah, you can do that.
Yeah,
and here's how." And with Blunami, it's even easier. The CVs are still there, but now the interface and how you get to those CVs is so much more streamlined. You can't say enough about it.
Well, one of the things I always love to do when I do a presentation or a clinic, first question, I usually ask, because if I start talking DCC and half the room has never used it, I've already lost half of the audience.
Right.
So how many people use DCC? And most of the people raise their hands. A couple of people don't. I ask them some questions. How familiar are you with it? And do you understand how it works? Because then, of course, I'll jump into a 2 or 3 minute dissertation on how it works.
Right.
Just the brief overview. But we do have our SoundTraxx webinars you can find on our YouTube channel that will walk you through what is DCC and how it works. Webinar number 4. But then once I get through that, then I ask the question to the group. I say, how many of you guys love programming CVs? And usually about 1 or 2 people raise their hands.
Yeah.
Because CVs are one of those, it's a necessary in our digital world, but it's one of those things everybody's kind of afraid of. Nobody really wants to actually go in and do any programming because they're afraid they're going to break their decoder. And to be fair, there are some other brands out there that you certainly could do that. Not with SoundTraxx stuff. We have safeguards to make sure that you can't break your decoder. Like, say for argument's sake, okay, in our diesel decoders, we have 44 air horns. If I fat finger and try to select air horn number 48, because the 8's right above the 5, or whatever the case is, and I hit enter. Well, with some brands out there, it'll say, oh, okay, whistle 48. Well, or horn 48. There's no horn 48 here. So it won't do anything until it gets that data. But then the data doesn't exist, so it kind of turns it into a vapor lock, so to speak.
Right.
Our decoders actually have software built in that says, that's outside the range, and defaults it back to a value of 0, I think it is, or 1, or whatever it is, to make sure that you don't break your decoder. And that's where we take that extra level of safeguards to help make sure that your decoders operate. So a lot of people are, intimidated by CVs, and like I said, justifiably so, if you type in the wrong thing. But they're not necessarily familiar with the fact that we do have that safeguard built into there.
Right.
So when it comes to making your sound selections, adjusting your volume levels, adjusting speed matching, or acceleration, deceleration rates, all of that is built into the decoder using configuration variables or CVs. These allow you to vary or change the configuration or the setup of the decoder. So one of the things that always drives, I don't want to say drives me nuts maybe, but makes me a little crazy is that when they use the term programming, well, you're not actually programming the decoder. That's what our software engineers do.
Right.
You're actually making adjustments to the decoder's behavior based on the software engineering that our engineers have done. And so when you're changing the volume, say for example, you go to your television, right? You're sitting back, you're like, yep, we're gonna do a little Al Bundy here.
Yeah.
And I wanna turn up the television, right? So I grab my remote and I push the button.
Right.
You're changing that television CV.
Right.
You just don't know it because
Right.
it's held behind that clean user interface. And that's what Blunami gives you.
Right. Really clean.
A really clean user interface. So now what I'm going to
CVs
do...
you're just picking from a list that's been programmed in by the engineers.
Exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and screen record my phone here really quickly because I'm going to show you a couple of new features. So 3, 2, 1, recording. This way our video sound editor can get everything matched up properly.
Right.
But anyway, as you can see here on the screen, I've got these 3 locomotives, or actually I've got these 4 locomotives. Let's put down the screen here, and I can scroll. Now I'm in multi-train screen, so I can go left and right and access all 4 locomotives on the same screen.
Yep.
But again, this is the brand new app for Apple.
Yeah.
Now, if you have Android, you already have these features built into it. So go to the App Store, download the app. It's free.
Right.
And this basically replaces your DCC system. So when it comes to making adjustments, changes, everything's done behind the clean user interface.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I've got 2117 sitting here in the background. I'm going to show you a couple of things that I do to my locomotives just so that you can really get a feel for how easy this is, especially when you're building a consist of 4 locomotives, because most people will grab their throttle and start pushing, locomotive 2121, and then they'll do the other knob 2031 and push it, or whatever the case is, or add to consist, and that's using the memory of the command station, which can lead to things like phantom commands or blocked out because it thinks this locomotive is part of another
Right.
consist and you can't run it independently. But the app makes it nice and easy. So 2117, these 3 are already set up exactly the way I'm about to show you. 2117 is not, so I'm going to show you that. And this is where consistency pays off. So down here on the bottom, you can see 2117 right in the middle of the screen here. Down on the bottom, I'm going to push the gear button. And this is where I can make all my adjustments and all my settings. Now, one of the things I want to start with, when we go to CV settings here in the middle, you can see I can scan all CVs, read and write individual CVs, so if I do still want to do that.
Yep.
But this is the one I want to show you right there where it says copy CVs to other loco.
Incredible.
What I can do is I can take the CVs that are stored in this locomotive and flash them to any of the other locomotives in my roster.
Yeah. Or vice versa.
And vice versa. I can select 2031 and flash everything to here. That'll do things like make sure that the momentum settings are the same, your braking rates are the same, your
Yep.
function assignments are the same, so that way, like I said, consistency is what pays off, because when we're not engineers.
Right.
We're not sitting in the engine feeling the train as we're trying to run the engine.
Right.
So we have to take some liberty of making things consistent. And I've heard people say, well, my switch units run at this momentum and my road units are this. Okay, that's fine. But then let's say you want to play the scenario. Hey, I'm going to take that switch unit to Little Rock
Right.
for repairs. Well, now it doesn't run with the road units.
No, it's geared too low.
Because it's geared too low,
Yeah.
or whatever the case
Running
is.
on half speed.
So this is just one of those things. And so the other thing is copy utility, is I can take these settings and copy them, flash them into multiple locomotives at a time. So it's really great. So once you go through and do all your sound settings on one Jeep 38, you can flash them into all your Jeep 38s in a matter of seconds. So if you set up 4 locomotives together, get one set up the way you want it, wire them up the same way, boom, in a matter of seconds you got copies. And that's what I've done here. So
Yep.
these 3 Jeep 38s, obviously this is a Jeep 30, are actually wired up the same way and I did that copy CV. So,
And George's hostler's still got a little work to do here. When he gets this thing ready to go, he'll have to hook the air hoses and stuff up for him.
Yep.
So
first thing I want to do is I want to show you some of the new features. First off is function remap. Now what I can do is I can go in here and remap my functions anywhere I want them to go.
Yep.
As I mentioned, I've been consistent, so this is already done. But just to show you what it is, let's say the mute button here. I'm going to click on mute button. There's all your 28 function assignments that you just check. You just click it and it'll check it where you want it to go.
Yep.
I keep mine on 19 because muting isn't something I do a lot. Or you can completely take it out of the function mapping range by hitting none. I'm going to hit cancel because I don't want to make a change. So just to kind of show you what options there are, and that goes through the whole list. Now what I'm going to do today is two things. First off is I'm going to manage my function panel. And this is where I'm going to go in and rename the functions so that not only do they fit better with what I like, but they fit with what the purpose is. So like here, for example, F9 by default is the grade crossing, long, long, short, long.
Right.
I like to do that myself.
Right.
I don't want to push a button and just let it do it its own. That's part of the fun, and then that gives you some personality. So I take that out. So F9 is unassigned. So what I do here is when I click on it, I just take the name out, put a space there, and then I uncheck toggle, and that means it's momentary, and then I lock the name.
Right.
So it's nice and quick and easy. So now...
And it'll save it like that.
And it'll save it just like that. So now you can see on the screen here that it's blank because it doesn't do anything.
Right. And when you fire it up, you take these engines at home, you fire them up at home, it's going to be the same way.
Exactly.
It's going to save that.
Because it stores it in the app. And so...
For that engine.
Yep. When you come over, we'll have to go through and do this on your app, but then once you have it, it's stored in there every time you come over and run trains.
And now we can, like George explained earlier, it'd be even easier because all I got to do is have my iPhone there and he can copy them from mine to his, right?
Right. CVs I can. I can't copy this data.
No, just CVs, I mean.
Just the CVs, yeah. So we can come in here and do this for any of these ones that are unused. We can just take the name away, untoggle it, and lock the name so that way every time I connect to it, I don't have to worry about seeing all these extra ones. Now, I've kind of meshed a little bit, and there's a lot of things I don't use. For example, function 16, you just saw me move. Function 16 is actually HEP, head-end power.
Yep.
These wouldn't be running in head-end power, so take it away.
Yep.
Now, F22, F23, the same thing. F22 is a cab chatter. I let that be automatic, and then F23 is all aboard. They're not passenger engines, so I take those out.
Right.
So again, now FX3 here, you'll see on my engines is the front class lights. And so I come in here and I type it in, and then here I lock the name, but I leave the toggle because I want to be able to press it and leave it on and then press it again to turn it off. So I hit save, and I'm going to do the same thing here. My FX4 is the rear class lights. And you can type this in whatever makes sense to you so that you'll remember what it is. And FX5 is my front number boards. And save that. And FX6 is the rear number boards. You kind of see where we're going with this.
Yep. And that way, when George is operating, he doesn't have to, what is FX3? I mean, you know, he's got a pretty good idea because he assigns all of them that same way. But still, it's a lot easier to just look on there and go front number boards, check, and turn them on.
Exactly.
Front class lights, turn them on.
So there's the renaming of all of those lights. And so I haven't done things like step or courtesy or walkway lights or any of that stuff on my Mopac stuff. I've only done that on my BNSF models. So for now, this is it.
Right.
So that's how easy it is. So now we're going to come back out here. Oops, went too far. Let's go to multi-train again. Let's grab my 2117. Now when I hit function here on the bottom, you can see that the function panel has actually changed to represent the lights that I've turned on. So when I hit the front class lights and the front number boards, well, that other camera is on the other side. Here, hand me that other camera.
Okay.
And you can see now the front number boards and the front class lights on the on 2117. Well, anyway, you can see that they're illuminated. So that's basically one of the steps when you're going in and doing the renaming, stuff like that. You want to make sure that everything is done properly. Now, the last thing I wanted to show you here before we jump into building this consist, and we're going to put that over there. Now, the last thing I want to show you is let's go back into our settings here. And this is where we go down to consist functions. And this is where, again, consistency is going to pay off. Because every one of my locomotives, the same function numbers do the same thing no matter what the locomotive is. And so when you do that, you can actually go into here, your lead loco, bell, air horn, short horn, dynamic brake, RPM plus and minus, dimmer, brake, F9 I uncheck because it doesn't do anything. Straight to H, straight to idle, brake select, yes. Alternate mixer is technically there, but I'm not going to use it, especially not on my lead unit.
Right.
Half speed, handbrake, F16, as we said, is disabled. Fuel loading, general service, mute. Function 20 doesn't do anything. Sander valve, you do want that. F22 and F23 are the sounds like I talked about. We don't need that. And then in the lead unit, I'm going to go ahead and turn on all the different lights. So I want to have access to all of the lights.
Right.
Now when I go to my second unit, my mid unit, okay, you'll notice there's no bell, there's no air horn, there's no short horn, but dynamic brake, RPM plus and minus are there. I do want my brake application.
Right.
I do want straight to H, straight to idle, and my brake select. But here's where half speed is there. Now, fuel loading and general service, I don't need that on the trailing units.
Right.
So I uncheck that. And then we're mute, yes. Sander valve, yes. 22, 23. Now, here's where the lights come into play. Now, on my units, like I said, I don't have the courtesy lights. So for me, I'm not going to have a rear unit with class lights on or number boards or anything like that. So I disable all of that.
Right.
And I'm going to do basically the same thing with the rear. I'm going to go through. You're going to notice I'm going to do the same thing. And we're going to make sure we disable. And again, this is where consistency pays off. So now once you do that, and now the app has stored that data for 2117 when 2117 is in the lead.
Right.
So when 2121 is in the lead, I've already done this.
Yeah.
And we're going to show how quick and easy this is to add this to the consist. So now we've got our locomotive set up. So let's get these guys powered up. And I do want to check one thing really quickly because I noticed my headlight wasn't coming on. So, whoops, read. Let's set this to 255, right. We want 58, read, and that's why we're going to set the 255, right. So apparently I didn't have everything done. My headlights were directional still based on here. So we're good to go. So now we can exit out of here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get each of these locomotives started up because we can fire up each one of them. So let's close off this functions. Where's my Jeep 30? We'll get this one started up. Next is 2031. And then 2121. And what I'm doing is I'm just sending it a non-zero motor command. And in the real world, you would have to start up each of those locomotives.
Right.
Now,
The guy walking down there and opening the door.
Open the door, throw the switch, fire it up.
Yep.
Now, I did a lot faster than they would in the real world, but we did it. Now I've got all 4 locomotives fired up. And I'm going to show you how quick and easy this is to consist. Now, for those of you guys listening on audio, I will narrate as much as I can. But when I'm going in here, there's a chain link right above the throttle. So my lead unit, which is 2121, I'm going to go ahead and hit that first. And each device can talk to up to 4 consists of any number of locomotives you want. So in this case, we're going to do 4.
Right.
So I'm going to do consist B for Bogota, because why not, right?
You're that guy.
I'm that guy. So there's my lead unit, and it makes sure we're in the forward direction. Now the next unit we're going to add is 2031. So we look for that, we find it, we hit that chain link, and we click consist B. Now you'll notice the throttle turns gray, and above it, it says rear loco, which it isn't yet, but don't worry, we're going to add these other 2.
Right.
Facing forward or facing rearward. And in this case, 2031 is facing rearward. So we click that, and it says facing backwards. So now those 2 are run together. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to add our Jeep 30. We're going to click the chain link as well, consist B. Now you'll notice that 2031 turned into a mid loco, while 3018 is now the rear loco.
Right.
and it is facing forward, so that would be correct. So that's already done.
Because right now, that's the last engine in the consist.
Right now, that's the last
as far as
engine
this thing
in the
goes,
consist.
For now,
Correct.
momentarily.
So when I blow the horn on 2121 and start to move forward, you'll see all these locomotives moving together. And then on the screen here, you can notice that 2031 throttle is also changing, but it's governed by the 2021 or 2121 throttle.
Sounds good.
That does sound good, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well, let's go ahead and back this guy up. We're going to turn on our functions here because we're going to go pick up 2117 now.
You know, we could do like you mentioned NASCAR earlier. We could do like they do on there. Well, turn up your volume, folks, when he's throttling up so you can hear it.
There you go.
Crank it up.
That was it. The crank it up.
Yeah, crank it up.
So so now we're in reverse. I'm going to go ahead and move this over to the other side.
Okay.
So we're going to do our short whistle signals.
Yep.
And then now we're going to go ahead and get it up. But now, as we're moving, we're going to use our brake application to make sure that we couple into it. Now, I wasn't fast enough, so we shoved it down.
That's an example of me doing it.
We just got flat spotted. But that's okay. So now we blow our signal. We're stopped.
Right.
Now let's turn and we're going to change direction to make sure that we've actually dropped the pin.
Right.
So we release our brakes and you can see that we've dropped our pin. We're connected. So now the fireman, conductor, whatever goes in.
Right.
And I'm using tweezers to connect my magnetic air hoses that you can get from Pacific Western Rail Services up in Canada.
Yes.
Those are really cool.
Great stuff.
Now I'm going to show you. We're going to add the 2117. So it's right here in front. So now we're going to go ahead and click it. Add consist B. Now you'll notice now it says rear locomotive facing forward, but it's actually facing backwards.
Right.
Done. There we go. Now we've got our consist. So now we open up our functions again. We're going to blow our air horn, turn on our bell. We're going to start to move in the forward direction, and we're going to release the brakes. And there you go. All the locomotives are there. We're going to throttle it up, and then we're going to set the brakes. And every locomotive in there follows appropriately.
Right.
And now you'll notice that the bell and horn are only coming from the lead unit. And this is what a lot of people are afraid to do when it comes to programming using DCC, because you would have to go in and set CB 21, 22, 245, and 246 to tell the decoder how to set those function commands to each unit individually. And then what happens if you want to change directions?
You gotta change them.
You got to change them. So what we're going to do here in this case is I'm going to turn off the lights on the lead unit here. And then now I'm going to come over here to where you see the 2117 down there on the bottom of the screen. It says make lead. So I'm going to close this app right here, or I'm going to close the function window. When I push make lead, the app does the work for you.
Right.
Now all my lead unit stuff is going to come from here. So let's make sure we're in forward.
And everything you programmed earlier for it, now that's a lead unit. The lights and stuff are all going to apply to that.
Correct. All the functions.
This one here will be disabled.
That one will basically follow a rear loco.
Right.
These two are following mid-train or mid-loco. That's following rear loco commands. So now we blow our horn. And now it's coming out of this guy. We're going to turn on our headlight. We got our headlight. We got our number boards on. And we got our front class lights on, as you can see here. Now we're going to start moving. But you notice it's not moving because the app knows the brakes are set.
Yeah.
So we release the brakes and the locomotives start to move. And that's how you get all of these locomotives working in sync together.
That is cool.
And that also, the brakes allow you to throttle up, as you saw or heard, to get those engines throttled up before you start moving. So it's gaining some engine behind it.
That's Mopac style right there.
There you go. Now, one of the last things I want to show you on this new app, and this is really fun, is up here at the top, you see a stop all button. That can be run as an emergency stop or a local command to stop your locomotive and bring it to zero. I turn that into an e-stop.
Yeah.
But then next to it, you see the multiple locomotives there. This is where you can sort your locomotives either alphabetically, or you can show the lead locos first, or you can break it into consists. I usually do show lead locos first. So what it does is it rearranges the locos in your screen here. So now when I come over here, 2117 is the lead unit on the left. So when I'm holding my throttle in my left hand, I can easily run the throttle with my left hand, and then I can use the right hand to trigger the function buttons or do my coupling uncoupling. And this allows you easy to do that. So if you're running more than one consist, your individual lead locos will then line up first, second, third, fourth, and then after that will be all the trailing units followed in after.
Yeah, and you can have, like you said earlier, you can have as many engines on there as you want.
Yeah.
You can up to 4 consists, right?
Yep, up to 4 consists of any number of locomotives. So if I wanted to throw 2 more engines on the back of this, great.
Like you did, there's a video online on our YouTube page where George did exactly that at the Colorado Railroad Museum.
Yep, I did 6 locomotives at that time.
Yep.
And so, really excited about this. So this is the new app. These are the new features that are built into the app. So I encourage you guys to check it out. And if you haven't tried Blunami, this is why you do it. In my opinion, this is worth the extra $20 to $30 you're going to pay for the price of the decoder over the Tsunami 2s, because you get this ability. Your DCC system is replaced with the free app on your phone.
Yep.
And so let's say, for argument's sake, I go over to Tom's and he's using some weird off-the-wall DCC system and I don't know how to use his throttle. I don't care anymore. I use this and I'm running. As long as my decoder has power,
power to
we
the
can
track.
run it and so forth. So now I can...
And you got your own throttle in your pocket. You know, you don't have to, you have a throttle, extra throttle, whatever. So
exactly.
And if George runs NCE and I run DigiTraxx or vice versa, that does not matter. This is your throttle.
Yep.
This is your system.
That's basically your system.
All these dudes need to know is, okay, there's power. We're good to go.
Yep.
Where's our commands at? And they come from here.
Exactly. So really excited about this. So that's everything I've got to plan to talk about today. I know we ran a little longer than I anticipated, but the good news is the info's out there. And if you want to experiment with it, get you a couple Blunamis and try it out. Because at the worst case, it's still a DCC decoder. If you decide this isn't for you, you can still use your DCC system on it. Just don't open the app. And as long as you do that, you can still run a DCC with your Tsunami 2s. You'll never know the difference. So with that, that's everything I've got. Closing thoughts or anything? I'm turning off my screen recorder
just
now.
Think, what if they just imagine a throttle like that?
You know, you're still on probation.
This is really neat, folks. I'll tell you, this is the way. One other thing I would point out too is we've had some questions about speed matching. And you notice how these things were speed matched right out of the, because they all got 14:1 gear ratios, and they're all going to run like real engines. If you watch real engines, they do a little bit of jostling back and forth. But the key thing to watch, George has got these MU cables here. Those things hardly didn't. They're still coupled. They didn't move enough to mess those things up at all.
Nope.
So.
Yeah, these are all stock. I did no speed matching to them. But if you do speed matching, if you do have one that's really way out there, the app will be eventually equipped with an ability to add speed matching using the app. But I still encourage you to use the CVs and using the function tables or the speed tables in the decoder, because then that way it's stored in the decoder and not in the app. So if you have Tom come over to run trains and you speed match through the app, then he has to now speed match on his app. Whereas if you set the CVs in the decoder and set the speed tables there, he doesn't have to do anything except rename the functions, and that's 5 minutes, as you can see.
And these three are after Genesis. This is a scale train, so they ran just beautifully together.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So with that, let's go ahead and sign off. This, like I said, this ran a little longer than I planned, but hopefully this was fun, entertaining for you, and informational.
Yes.
Because ultimately, we want to give you the tools so that you can enjoy running your trains the best. Because it's your hobby, and it's no fun if it's frustrating or it irritates you. And so we want to give you all the ways we can make it make more fun and more enjoyment and less time fiddling around. So with that, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you guys next time. This has been our Train Talk from Milepost 141. This is the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast coming to you from Durango, Colorado. So guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And don't forget to get your hats.
Bye now.